Hi guys, Lee Marie here with Nokomis Home Fragrance, and I am back with part 2 of our How to Get Your Product into a National Retailer series. And today we're going to be focusing on finding that retail buyer. Now, a retail buyer is someone who is responsible for buying and finding new brands and products for a particular retailer. And these buyers have certain categories that they buy in. So for example, Macy's would have a women's buyer for women's clothing, or they would have a shoe buyer. They would have a home goods buyer. So they fit into different categories. That'll be important for you to know what category you fit in so that you find the appropriate buyer. Now, before I get a little bit too much into the video, please remember to subscribe if you like this video or business-related videos like it. Hit the like button as well and turn your notifications on. I try to post a video every single week regarding business, wholesaling, candles, behind the scenes, just about everything. Okay, so on to the video. This is one that I know that a lot of people have asked me about. And so there are 3 different categories I'm going to go through today. And you kind of just need to see which of those 3 categories you fit into. And therefore the advice I give will be best suited for you depending on which category. So the first category is going to be finding a buyer where you know exactly what store or couple of stores you want to be in. So for example, if your product is a product that is perfect for Nordstrom's, Bloomingdale's, and Neiman Marcus, you've already got your 3 stores, you know where you want your product to go. And so that will be the first category. The second category is going to be geared towards someone who has a product that has a lot of universal appeal and therefore can be in 100 stores or even 1,000 stores. So that's the person that doesn't necessarily have 1 or 2 stores in mind. They want to get their product into as many stores as possible. And then the third category is where you're not exactly sure what stores your product necessarily could go in. You're open to retailers contacting you and seeing, what you guys can figure out together. So that's the third category where you're not entirely sure where you want your products to go, but you know you want to get them into stores. Okay? So let's start with number 1, which is you've got a few stores. And again, this only works with a couple stores. If you have 40, 50 stores, it's not the best one to work for you. Okay? Also, I did just want to preface real quick. All 3 of these options for finding retail buyers do have some cost. Now the cost is anywhere from $50 to a few $100s. So just keep that in mind that it's going to be a small investment on your part. There are some ways of getting around it, but you'll have the best results if you put up a little bit of money yourself, if you really want to find and connect with these buyers. So the first category is what stores you want to go into. Let's just, for argument's sake, let's say Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom's. And you just need help finding buyers in your category in those stores. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to sign up for LinkedIn. Now, I had no idea that so many buyers were listed on LinkedIn. I had no clue until I signed with my retailer, and next thing you know, they're on there, and then I search other buyers just because I'm curious, and a bunch came up. So that was something that I was really, really surprised by. But I figured that's really good advice as well, because if there's just 1 or 2 people you're looking to connect to, I think your best bet to finding them is going to be LinkedIn. So here's what you want to do. Now, if you sign up for just a regular LinkedIn account, you're not going to have access to the profiles that you want to look for. LinkedIn does want you to sign up for a premium membership. And again, I think that starts at $50 or $60. Now, they do have trial memberships that I think you can try 1 month for free. I would encourage you to sign up for that and then try to get as much information as possible in that 1 month. So what you want to do once you sign up and you have access to all of the information, all the profiles, you literally want to search the name of the store and the word buyer. So if it's Nordstrom's you want to go into, you would search Nordstrom buyer. If you want to get more specific, you would search Nordstrom women's shoes buyer. And every single person on LinkedIn that has had that position on their resume is going to pop up. So what you're looking for is whomever it says is presently a women's shoe retail buyer at Nordstrom's. And that's the person that goes into a little pool of, okay, this is someone of interest. Okay, then the next thing you want to do is corporate offices oftentimes have many regional offices throughout the United States. What you want to do is locate the closest regional office to you. There's a lot of different reasons for that. One reason would be sometimes corporate offices like that have days throughout the year where they allow brands to come in and pitch their products in person. So you definitely want to be near or know of the closest retail corporate location to you. The second reason is sometimes you may also either meet your buyer in person, have meetings with your buyers, or you want shipping just to cost a lot less if you have to ship samples to your buyer. So it's just always a good idea to find the closest corporate office to you. The other reason you want to do that as well is many of these buyers have certain parts of their store where they feature local merchandise, local brands. So that's a great way of getting into a bigger retail store is by locating their regional office, a buyer within that office, and letting it be known that you are a local brand. That's something that they like to fill the shelves with as well. So many reasons to find the closest one to you. So the reason I bring that up is because when you search, let's say women's shoe buyer Nordstrom's, you may get maybe 10 people that have the same title, but they have different locations. One could be in New York, one could be in Dallas, one could be in Pennsylvania. So they have different regions where they buy product from. That's why when you go into a Nordstrom's, not every single Nordstrom's has the exact same merchandise because they are regional. So you want to find the person that matches your product category in the region closest to you. And that's the person that you want to get a hold of. Now, one bit of advice I'll give you, and I heard this directly from buyers, they do not answer messages through LinkedIn. Do not message a buyer through LinkedIn. They find it unprofessional. What you should do instead is contact that regional corporate office. Oftentimes they will have a directory of employees and look for the employee, and hopefully you'll get sent to their voicemail, and then you leave them a brief message. Now, once you do find your buyer and you are able to either call them or email them, it's very important that you do two things. Number one, keep it brief. Do not leave a 5-minute voicemail telling her or him how wonderful your product is and all the reasons it's wonderful and everything. Do not do that. Also, do not send a lengthy email telling them the highlights of why you're a good entrepreneur and why your product is awesome and what. Don't do that. What you want to do with these emails and phone calls is keep it brief and concise. Think of your 30-second pitch, or what they call an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch is basically where you pitch your product to someone in the time it takes to get from like the 10th floor to the first floor. About 30 seconds. It's a 30-second pitch. So what you want to do is just introduce yourself, say you've got a fantastic product that people will love, that fixes a problem, and that you'd really like to get a hold of them, and tell them more about it. And then you're going to do that every single week until they get back to you. Now, one thing I've heard from multiple buyers as well is that you can never email or call them too much. No buyer from what I've heard has ever said, stop calling, stop emailing me. What they do if they don't want to talk to you is they'll ignore you. But the thing is, you always want to stay within their field of view, because there will come a time when they're going to need to fill a certain void, and your product may be that, can fill that void. And if your email is right there at the top every single week, they're going to be like, oh, that's right. This person told me about a product in this category that could help. And then they want more information. And that's what you're looking for with a buyer. So again, if you find them through LinkedIn, you'll have their name, try the corporate office, and try to either get transferred to their voicemail or try and find out their email. One thing you can't do is call a corporate office and simply ask, who's your women's shoe buyer? They're not going to tell you. They're not going to give you their info. They're not going to transfer you. They'll simply say, I'm sorry, we don't give that information out, and they're going to hang up on you. So again, going through LinkedIn gives you what you need, which is the name. You need the name of that buyer. And then you can start asking, who has the email for this buyer? Who has the phone number? What regional corporate office location are they located in? So if you have, like I said, 1 or 2 stores that you want to go into, LinkedIn's probably going to be your best bet for finding that buyer and then figuring out a way to communicate with. So the second option, this is for the person that has no idea what stores they want to go into, but they know they want to go into a lot of stores. And that is someone that would go online and pay for a booklet, basically, that has all the names and phone numbers of every single buyer in the United States at any given time. Now, the cost is about $300 to $400. So it's something that, again, if you want that information because you want to send your product out to as many buyers as possible, that's probably going to be your best investment. Because again, this directory lists all of the information from every single buyer in the United States. And I will have the link below to that website where you can purchase that particular directory. But just know the cost is in the hundreds for the directory. So that's actually a pretty simple one. Number 2, if you want your product to be in as many stores as possible and you want the information of as many buyers as possible, go online, purchase the directory. The reason I didn't say this option for number 1 is I don't see the value in paying $300 or $400 when all you want is 1 or 2 persons' names. So that's why I suggested LinkedIn was a much cheaper way, if not free, of getting that information and bypassing having to pay hundreds of dollars for a directory where all you need is 1 or 2 names. And so the last place to find retail buyers is a website called RangeMe.com. So that's Range, RANGE, me, ME.com. And again, I'll have the link down below to that. And basically what that is, it's a platform where you fill out a profile with all of your company's information. It's a very detailed and very specific profile. You're going to be telling them every single product that you have. Do you have marketing in place? Can you do distribution to the entire United States? Can you do international distribution? What are your case packs? So do you sell by the case of 4, by the case of 6? Do you sell individually? What are your UPC numbers? What are the approximate dimensions of your product? I mean, everything they want to know. They want pictures of your product, of your website. They want as much information on your brand as possible. And what happens is then buyers go onto this website from various retailers, and when they're looking for a product, they will maybe look at your profile and say, okay, the dimensions are right. They do US distribution. The price is right. It looks like they're ready with marketing and everything. They've got a website, they tick all the boxes, and then they'll contact you. Now, the one caveat with this, even though it sounds wonderful, is of course you have to pay a subscription. And the subscription depends on how big you want to grow. Initially, I believe their introductory package is like $100 a month. And that gets you in front of, an X number of buyers. The more you pay, the more number of buyers you get in front of. So I would maybe start off at the least expensive option first. Try it for a few months and see if it works for you. Obviously, if nothing happens, cancel. If you start getting a little bit of traction and you think you could do better if you were in front of more people, then by all means, upgrade. They have plans all the way up to like $1,000 a month, depending on how big your operation is, if you have an international operation. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, and it's a good platform. If you're not entirely sure who you want to sell your product to, you're not sure if you should sell it, there could be stores that you've never even heard of that would be fantastic fits for your product. So RangeMe.com is a great option for you. Fill out a profile, sign up for a membership, and then have buyers look through the directory and then find you when your product meets their needs and what they're looking for. Okay? So like I said, this is the 3 ways that I have found most efficient to find buyers, and it all depends on whether you want a couple stores, hundreds of stores, or you're not even sure which stores. Remember, once you do contact a buyer or find a buyer's email or their phone number, keep following up. It is so, so important. You never want to email once and never email again. They will forget about you. But if you are emailing them every single week, sending a message or leaving a voicemail every single week, you will be in their mind. You'll be in the forefront of their mind, so that when they want to purchase products, they'll think, okay, this person's been emailing me for a while. Let me see what they've got. The other thing also is you want to try and get in touch with retail buyers in the summer. The reason you want to try and find your buyers in the summer is a lot of them by summer and early fall are trying to get their products listed and ready for the new year. So I hope you found today's video informative. If so, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so I can continue making videos for you. Also, if you want to comment down below and let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see me make in the future regarding business or candles or anything like that, I will definitely take that into account. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye.